What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel, where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If that's something you like to listen to, then we definitely welcome you to subscribe. We put out a host of different credit and financial related videos, so you could always support our channel by subscribing. Otherwise, you could like, share, or comment right down below. It helps our content get out to a much wider audience, and we certainly appreciate all the support. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to thank all the subscribers, both subscribers who have been with us for a while now from the beginning and those who have recently just subscribed to our channel. I recently just hit the 4,000 subscriber mark, so yeah, I definitely appreciate this, and hopefully we'll continue to break some of these milestones as we continue to grow the channel and put out more content to help everyone navigate the whole credit system. So for today's video, I'm going to be covering another financial institution review. Recently, I focused primarily on credit unions simply because of what's been going on with the entire COVID-19 situation and how that's impacted big banks as well as regional types of banks in terms of their lending. So it's caused a lot of these banks to clamp down for the fact that many people, over 40 million people, have lost their jobs since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so these banks have been tightening up, increasing their lending criteria as well as cutting back. So the more viable route has been going with some of these credit unions, and I've been able to get a lot of success personally and with a lot of clients by utilizing different credit unions. However, for today's video, I'm going to be pivoting back to a mid-sized bank. Now, the particular bank that I'm going to be covering is Synovus Bank. Now, Synovus covers the southeastern part of the United States. So states like Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, they're really focused in those areas. Although there are ways of becoming a part of the bank in terms of getting access to their services, even if you don't necessarily live in those particular areas. Now, this is probably more related to businesses. So even with credit unions, as I mentioned in other videos, credit unions serve a much smaller geographic footprint compared to large banks. So for the most part with credit unions, if it's open to members nationwide, for example, like an Alliant or like a DCU or one of these places, you can get access to their personal products. However, with DCU, for example, their business products are only for businesses that have a presence in either Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire. So sometimes you might see that and think, oh, well, my business isn't in that area, so I can't qualify for these business products. But one thing you can consider is doing a foreign entity filing or registration. So basically what that is when you, if let's say you have a business in one state and you want to establish a presence in another state, you can do a foreign entity filing where when you do that, you then have access to different financial institutions that you normally wouldn't have been able to, establish a relationship or getting financial products with if, you didn't have that presence in that particular state. So that's just one little workaround. So, if you ever come across a bank that's not in your area as a business owner and you're looking for funding, that's one workaround to actually getting access to. Now, you have to do your due diligence and research and consider the filing costs and things like that. However, if there's a financial program, whether that's a business loan program, business credit card, you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons to see if it's worth your while. Usually, if it's only $100 to do that, and then the continual upkeep of those fees over the course of the year, it might be worthwhile. So that's just one thing. But anyways, Synovus Bank, like I said, covers the southeast region. A couple things about Synovus, right? They're a mid-sized bank, so they're going to be a little bit more risk averse. I've spoke with a banker recently from Synovus on their different products, and actually they've set a minimum credit score criteria of a 740 FICO score in order to qualify for their personal or business credit cards. Now, so if you don't fall into that prime credit category, 740 or above, then this isn't really going to be an institution for you to really consider at the moment. And they also pull Equifax, so that's another important point to remember as well. So specifically, it's going to be Equifax. So you have to make sure that your Equifax FICO is going to be higher than a 740. Now, which exact model that they're pulling, I'm not 100% sure, but any of your FICO scores that are pulling Equifax data, you're going to want to make sure all of those are above 740 before you even pursue. So anyways, on the personal side, they have 4 different credit cards. They have a travel rewards Synovus credit card that gives you 5x points on travel related expenses like airlines, hotels, rental cars. So it's up to $5,000 per year on those types of expenses. They also have a 3x points on your quarterly spend for a dynamic spend category. So you can choose the category that you want those 3x points on, 1x points on all others. And this also comes with a 0% APR for 6 months. So that's one thing to consider. Also, you get 20% more value when you redeem those points for travel instead of statement credit or anything like that. Then they have a rewards credit card that gives you 3x on all purchase, or not 3x on all, but 3x on $3,000 with that dynamic spend category, and then 1x on all others. So it's kind of, the rewards is kind of similar to the travel rewards, except you're not getting that 5x category on travel. But that does come with, and the one difference is the travel rewards does come with 0% on balance transfers and purchases for 6 months. The rewards has an 18-month 0% offer on purchases and balance transfers. So that's one little subtle difference. And then they have a cash rewards. So instead of points, you're actually getting cash back. So you could just redeem that as statement credit. So the cash rewards gives you 3% cash back on dining, and then 3% on a dynamic spend category of your choice, and then 1% on everything else. And then finally, they just have a classic Synovus Classic credit card that just gives you a 0% offer for 18 months, and that's pretty much all. And then I forgot to mention the cash rewards is 0% APR for 6 months. So they're kind of switching it up. I guess when you get more rewards, you get less of an intro offer, and vice versa. So on the business side, they have essentially the same exact card lineup, except on the business side, there's no classic Synovus. They have the travel, they have the rewards, and they have the cash rewards. So it's pretty much the same exact card on the business as it is on the personal. So I'm not going to go into those, but on the business, there's just 3. And then on the personal side, they do have a personal line of credit that goes from $2,500 all the way up to $10,000, and it has a draw periods as long as 10 years. So after that 10 years, then you would normally have to go up for another review to make sure that you still qualify for that. So that's a pretty good offer. And then on the business side, they have 2 different lines of credit. They have a commercial line of credit, which is your traditional commercial line of credit. You're paying principal and interest on whatever you draw down on, and that commercial line of credit goes up to $30 million. Now, of course, not every business is going to necessarily qualify, so that's probably not going to be feasible for small businesses per se. That's probably more designed for medium-sized businesses with at least $5 million in annual sales. Then they do have a flex business line of credit that goes up to $250,000, and that has a 3-year draw period. So that one is more suited for smaller businesses. Then the commercial line is more suited for large scale or medium scale enterprises, but not small businesses in that sense. So 99% of people watching this video probably fall into the small business category. So like I said, Synovus is going to be a little bit more conservative compared to your credit unions. You're going to have to meet a higher minimum threshold in terms of your credit score. You're going to need a 740 minimum FICO that pulls from your Equifax. Which one that is, I'm not 100% sure, but just make sure you just meet that. Even with that, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get approved. That's just the minimum threshold. And it's interesting because prior to this, the minimum was actually a 680 to qualify for some of their credit products. But since what's been going on, it seems like they've increased the threshold so that they're really only attracting the most prime customers, the customers who are going to have the least amount of risk to them. And that's just the fact of the matter of what financial institutions are doing right now. So I just wanted to give some light to this, because I do have several clients who have relationships with Synovus, and also just from some data points that I've gathered, Synovus does give fairly high credit limits. And again, they are really targeting more prime customers. So I mean, you could do some research as well, but it seems like the limits are usually in that $20,000 range, as high as 30,000. So you could rest assured, if you do fall into that prime category, you're probably going to be more likely to get a much higher limit. So that's just one thing to consider. And if there's anyone who has a relationship with Synovus or has any data points to share with Synovus, you could definitely let us know in the comment section right down below. And until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.